After weeks of speculating about Fiston Mayele, the coach Nasreddin Nabi has finally revealed what is actually happening with that particular player. We're also going to talk about Percy, Riaan Hanamub, and Edmilson Dove, and just among other things that we'll talk about. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. When you start enjoying the video somewhere as I start talking, please do make sure to just like it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Okay, so now this was an interview that was done by the coach himself, Nasreddin Nabi, and he it's funny. So he was talking to On Time Sports, and this is translated by Far Post. So shout out to Far Post. And when they're asking him, hey, there are talks that you might be interested in signing this guy, Percy, and he said no. Tao has a year remaining on his contract, so we are not in talks with Percy. And I was like, hooray! That makes sense, right? Because why would Kaizer Chiefs go sign Percy, who has documented injury problems, but on top of his injury problems, the amount of money that he would want from Kaizer Chiefs and just the bad publicity that we get or the team gets from getting players who played for Mamelodi Sundowns. Billiard came to Chiefs, it did not work. Castro came to Chiefs, it did not work. Dolly came to Chiefs, it did not work. The whole CPT. Sereno is a Chiefs, but we were desperately in need of him. So I think that that's the only exception that should be made for ex-Sundowns players at this point, because there's just always negativity when these players are signed. And given how much they cost the Chiefs and the risk that they bring in case they don't perform, then it doesn't make sense to just keep on going after every Mamelodi ex-Sundowns player. So I'm actually happy on a personal note. What is note? I'm actually happy that he's not coming to Kaizer Chiefs. Number two, there is another player by the name of Fiston Mayele. Now, the response from the coach, if I read it to you, you hear it sounds vague. I think Chiefs have taught him to also answer these questions in a political way, like a politician. So he says that it's the same situation with Fiston Mayele. He's like family to me, talking about himself as Nasreddin Nabi. We worked well together at Young Africans, but he has a contract with Pyramids and he is not available. We respect that and have not engaged in any negotiations. Now, having a contract does not mean you are not available. For someone to know that you are not available, they must have inquired about your availability. And when the team says he's not available, then Chiefs obviously would stop engaging that player, because it's different if he had said, we have never talked to Yanga about him, but they're saying he has a contract with them and is not available, and we respect that, because that opens up, like, there's a lot of things that were not said there. So me, I'm filling in the gaps, because I know for a fact Uguti Unabi worked with Mayele and he would have loved to work with him, because if you look at the situation in the striking department at Kaizer Chiefs, you can clearly see that we might benefit from getting another striker. So as it stands, Kaizer Chiefs are not, I repeat, Kaizer Chiefs are not talking to Fiston Mayele or Pyramids about him. They might have inquired and found that, hey, the player is not available. And this actually, what's the word? I want to say corresponds, but it agrees with some of the reports that said Pyramids were straight up. They said he is not available. The other reports that were saying 30 million, they were just taking that from the fact that his market value is that much, but it's not that that's how much the team was asking for, because as I've said, and I said yesterday in the live stream, that it wouldn't make any sense for a team to sell Fiston Mayele for the numbers that is producing for Pyramids. It wouldn't make sense for any amount of money unless a team from Europe comes in, or Saudi, and they offer a ridiculous amount of money. But for 30 million, for his market value, I don't think it would have made any sense. So this also not happening makes sense to me, and I'm not actually worried. Which leads us to another player who now has sort of been, I would say, confirmed that Chiefs did try to sign him, because Goal reported that Kaizer Chiefs offered 3 million rands to sign Riaan Hanam. Now, before we even talk about Riaan Hanam and 3 million being rejected, please do make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, the fact that Chiefs have now offered Hanamub, have offered 3 million to sign Hanamub to Amazulu, or from Amazulu. They offered 3 million to Amazulu to sign him from Amazulu. That tells me that the whole thing with Fawaz Basatin is just not happening. They've moved on, because we know that even before, I think we went to Inacio, before we went to Bonganisem, Chiefs wanted to sign a left back from Angola, and then was Paqela again. They just wanted to be with the Chiefs, and then Chiefs ended up not signing him, and then they moved, and then they signed Ubonganisem. So we know that if they explore something, they see it doesn't work, then they move on, which, by the way, I think probably I should clap for it, maybe, and say, hey, look at that. Chiefs actually, it seems like they have a list of a player who they want, a backup of that, and a backup of that, and a backup of that. Obviously, the further down you go with backups, you see that the quality between the player that you wanted and the player you end up getting might not be the greatest. But then I always go back to Liverpool. That Liverpool wanted to sign Willian, and then they couldn't get Willian. They ended up getting Salah. Look who's a greater legacy now, Mohamed Salah. So sometimes you might not get the best player, but if you have a list and you scouted properly, then you might just get a proper player. So Hanamub, 3 million rands was rejected, which I will tell you, it would be ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous for me from Amazulu to say they rejected 3 million rands for a player that Chiefs can sign on a pre-contract in January. It does not make any sense. You see people who are coming up with conspiracies about teams not wanting to sell players to Chiefs. You see, this I would agree on this one, because who rejects 3 million for a player who's on his last year of his contract? How much money do you want for Hanamub on his last year? It's not like he's 22. It's not like Chiefs. They sometimes look at the fact that, Chiefs are desperate for a left back. We could probably get more out of them for this player. But I think 3 million rands already is a fair enough price for a player who's on his last year of his contract. But saying no to that, that sounds ridiculous to me. I will tell you, that sounds ridiculous, and I don't know why Amazulu would do that, because Chiefs are just gonna chill and they're gonna wait for January and they're gonna sign him on a pre-contract. But then again, it's that thing of Chiefs are pressed against the wall in a way, because Ubonganisem, they signed him as like a secondary person that they wanted, because it seems, because the main talks were signing the Angolan left back, and then we moved to Bonganisem. So if they don't see Bonganisem as a starter and they want someone else to start, then that makes me think, then they're in that situation where they're either forced to start to Sam, but once again, if he gets injured again as he is right now, who do they play there? Because yes, Frosler can play in that position, but it's not his natural position, and we have those issues. So I'm asking you guys, should Chiefs go up to 4 million, 5 million for Riaan Hanam, who's also on his last year of his contract? I do not know, but do let me know down on the comment section. Comment section. Please do make sure to go check out this video on my other channel, where I'm analyzing the Pirates game against Disciples, and this other video that YouTube thinks you might like. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals al pelumoy.